I shut the door behind me, placing my keys in the glass bowl by the entrance, and let out a slow breath. Another exhausting day filled with boardroom discussions, fabric choices, and tight production schedules. Work has always been my refuge. Orderly, challenging, and fulfilling in ways my personal life no longer is. The house is silent, save for the faint sound of the TV coming from somewhere inside. My husband, Victor, is probably sprawled on the couch, lost in whatever show keeps him occupied these days. Once, he was the kind of man who entered a room and owned it. Now, he's a shadow within these walls, retreating further into himself since his career fell apart. We don't argue or fight. We simply coexist. Our marriage has turned into a polite, distant arrangement, lacking the spark that once bound us. I convince myself this is normal, that it's just what happens when time stretches between two people without passion to bridge the gap. And then there's Jordan. I pause at the foot of the stairs, listening. I know he's home. He always is. Unlike Victor, Jordan notices things. He sees me. At 17, my son has grown in ways I hadn't anticipated. The boy I raised, the one who used to chase fireflies in the yard and curl up beside me during storms, has become someone more complex, more observant. There's a quiet confidence about him now, a sharp awareness that sometimes makes me uneasy. He watches me in a way his father never does. I climb the stairs and push open his door without knocking, something I've always done. The room is dim, the glow of his laptop casting soft shadows across his sharp features. He's sitting on the edge of his bed, long legs stretched out, one hand resting casually on his knee. He looks up at me, and there it is. That quiet, knowing expression that sends an unfamiliar warmth through me. "You're home late," he says, his voice smooth but with an edge I can't quite place. "Meetings ran long," I reply, stepping inside and leaning against the doorframe. "How was your day?" He shrugs, the motion fluid and indifferent, but his eyes stay locked on mine. "Same as always." There's something about the way he looks at me that unsettles me. It's not disrespectful or inappropriate, but it's deep. Too deep, as if he sees something in me no one else bothers to notice. I cross my arms. "Did your father make dinner?" Jordan snorts, shaking his head. Take a wild guess. "Of course not. Victor hasn't cooked in years. If it weren't for the housekeeper I hired last year, this place would be in complete disarray." I sigh and push off the door frame. "Come downstairs, I'll make something." Jordan doesn't move right away. Instead, he studies me for a moment longer, his gaze trailing over my face as if searching for something. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, he stands. As I turn to leave, I feel his presence close behind me, following in my footsteps. The kitchen is quiet except for the soft clatter of plates and the low hum of the fridge. I move with practiced ease, pulling ingredients from the refrigerator, my mind distracted by the weight of Jordan's presence behind me. He doesn't sit at the table or lean against the counter like he usually does. Instead, he lingers, standing close enough that I can feel his warmth, his quiet watchfulness pressing against my skin like an unspoken question. "You don't have to stand there," I murmur, reaching for the cutting board. "I like watching you," he replies, his voice calm and measured. I pause, my fingers tightening around the knife handle. Something about the way he says it makes my pulse quicken, my throat tightening with a dryness I don't understand. I let out a short breath and focus on chopping the vegetables in front of me. Jordan has always been observant, but lately his attention feels heavier, like a weight I don't know how to carry. He notices things I don't expect him to. The way I rub my temples after a long day. The way I sigh when I think no one is listening. The way I hesitate before answering his questions, as if measuring every word before I speak. "Are you tired?" he asks suddenly, his voice closer than before. I nod, not trusting myself to look at him. "Long day." He steps around the counter, his movements slow and deliberate. When I finally meet his gaze, there's something in it I can't quite name. A quiet intensity, a certainty I hadn't realized had grown in him over the past year. "You do too much," he says simply. "You always have." I let out a small laugh, shaking my head. "It's my job, Jordan." He leans against the counter, arms crossed over his chest. "I'm not talking about your job." For a moment, silence stretches between us, thick with something I can't define. My fingers press against the cool surface of the countertop as I try to steady myself. There's an unfamiliar energy in the air, something I'm too afraid to acknowledge. I force a smile and turn back to the stove. Can you grab me the olive oil? Jordan doesn't move right away. I feel the weight of his stare on the side of my face, the way his presence lingers like a question neither of us wants to ask. Then, finally, he steps away, the sound of the pantry door creaking as he retrieves the bottle. Dinner is quiet. Victor never joins us anymore. He exists in his own world, detached and uninterested in anything beyond his TV screen. I should mind more than I do, but I've stopped expecting anything different. Instead, it's just Jordan and me, sitting across from each other in the dim glow of the kitchen light. I should be used to it by now, but tonight, the silence between us feels different. Charged. It starts with small things. The lingering of his hand on mine when I pass him a glass of water. The way his eyes hold mine a second too long in conversation. The quiet shift in his voice when he says my name, as if he's tasting it differently now. I tell myself I'm imagining it, but I'm not. One evening, after another long day at work, I find him waiting for me at the bottom of the stairs. His hair is damp from the shower, his t-shirt fitting snugly across his broadening shoulders. He's taller than me now, a fact that still unsettles me sometimes, reminding me how fast time has slipped through my fingers. You okay? He asks, his voice softer than usual. I nod, slipping off my heels and exhaling. Just tired. Jordan watches me for a moment before he steps forward. Before I can react, his hands are on my shoulders, his fingers pressing gently against my muscles. I freeze. You're tense, he murmurs. Relax, he says simply, his voice soothing, his fingers kneading the knots in my shoulders with surprising skill. Let me take care of you for once. I want to protest, to tell him this is unnecessary, that I can handle my own exhaustion. But the truth is, it feels good. Too good. My body betrays me, leaning into his touch before I can stop myself. His hands move slowly, deliberately. My breath hitches when his fingers brush the curve of my neck, his touch lingering for just a second longer than it should. The air between us thickens, the quiet hum of the house amplifying the tension. Better? He asks, his voice close, warm against my ear. I swallow hard. Yes, he doesn't move right away. Neither do I. The moment stretches, something unspoken filling the space between us, tightening around my chest like a vice. Then, as if sensing the danger in it, I step away. Thank you, I say quickly, clearing my throat. I should get to bed. Jordan nods, his expression unreadable. Good night, Mom. The way he says it doesn't feel the same as before. The shift between us is undeniable. It's in the way his eyes follow me across the room, the way his presence lingers in doorways, watching, waiting. It's in the way my breath catches in my throat when I realize how much he's grown. Not just in height, but in the way he carries himself, in the way he speaks, in the quiet confidence that wasn't there before. It unsettles me. It excites me. And that terrifies me most of all. One night, as I sit curled on the couch with a book, he joins me without a word, settling onto the cushion beside me. It's nothing unusual. We've always shared quiet moments together. But tonight, something feels different. He shifts slightly, and I feel the warmth of his leg brush against mine. I keep my eyes on the pages of my book, pretending not to notice, pretending my heart isn't racing. Mom, he says after a long moment. I glance up, meeting his gaze. He doesn't say anything right away. He just looks at me, sees me in a way that no one else does, and I don't know what to do with that. I should say something. I should break whatever spell is hanging between us, but instead I stay silent, trapped in the weight of his stare. The quiet pull of something I don't dare name. I tell myself it's nothing, that I'm overthinking it. But deep down, I know something has changed. And there's no going back. That evening, as I return home with a carefully wrapped package in my hands, I feel an odd sense of anticipation. It's just a gift, I tell myself. A mother buying something nice for her son. But somehow it doesn't feel that simple. Jordan is in the living room when I arrive, stretched out on the couch, his long legs lazily draped over the armrest. His hair is slightly damp from the shower, and the soft glow of the lamp casts warm shadows over his face. He glances up as I step inside, his gaze instantly locking onto mine. "You're late," he murmurs. "Long day," I reply, setting my bag down before holding up the package. "For you." His brows lift in surprise, but he pushes himself upright, reaching for the box with curiosity. "What's this?" "An early birthday present," I say, settling onto the couch beside him. "I saw it today and thought of you." Jordan peels away the wrapping paper with deliberate slowness, his fingers skimming over the box before lifting the lid. When he pulls out the shirt, his expression stills. His fingers brush against the smooth fabric, his thumb tracing the collar. "Pale pink," he murmurs, almost to himself. "You like it?" I ask, suddenly uncertain. He looks up, something unreadable flickering behind his dark eyes. "Yeah," he says quietly. I do. The way he says it makes my breath catch. "Try it on," I say before I can think better of it. Jordan hesitates for only a second before standing, pulling his t-shirt over his head in one fluid motion. My mouth goes dry. His body is lean but strong, muscles carved by the unconscious effort of youth. I look away, my pulse quickening, my fingers curling against my knee as he shrugs into the new shirt. When he buttons it up and turns to face me, my breath catches in my throat. It fits perfectly. The fabric hugs his frame in all the right ways, the delicate pink against his skin making his features somehow sharper yet softer at the same time. I swallow hard. "You look—" The words falter before I can finish. Jordan watches me closely, his expression unreadable. "How do I look?" "Beautiful." The word sits on the tip of my tongue, too dangerous to say out loud. Instead, I force a small smile. "Handsome." A slow smirk tugs at the corner of his lips. "You think so?" I nod, ignoring the way my heart pounds against my ribs. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't. He doesn't break eye contact as he steps closer, his voice quieter now. "You always notice things about me, don't you?" Something about the way he says it makes the air between us feel too thick, too charged. I rise to my feet quickly, smoothing my hands over my skirt. "Well," I say, forcing my voice to sound normal, "it's a mother's job to notice things about her son." Jordan doesn't respond right away. Then, slowly, he says, "Right." But something in his tone tells me he doesn't quite believe it. 3 days later, on Jordan's birthday, I take him out to dinner. Victor is absent, as expected, and I don't even bother leaving a note. The restaurant is cozy, with soft golden lighting and tasteful decor. A place designed for quiet talks, savoring wine, and cherishing the moments in between. Jordan wears the pink shirt I gave him, and when I see him waiting by the entrance, something inside me shifts in a way I can't explain. "You wore it," I say as we sit down. "Of course," he replies, his lips curling into a knowing smile. "You picked it out for me." Dinner unfolds slowly, filled with laughter and conversation that feels effortless, yet tinged with something unspoken. I drink my wine too fast, trying to steady myself against the warmth in his gaze, the quiet way he watches me between words. "Do you ever regret it?" Jordan asks suddenly, setting his glass down. "Regret what?" "Marrying him." I pause, caught off guard. Jordan leans forward slightly, his voice softer now. "You're not happy, Mom. You haven't been for a long time." I exhale slowly, setting my fork down. "Marriage isn't always about happiness, Jordan." He studies me for a long moment, then says, "It should be." I smile, but it feels worn. "You're still young. You'll understand someday." Jordan doesn't look convinced. Instead, he reaches across the table, his fingers brushing against mine. The touch is light, barely there, but it sends a sharp electric jolt through me. "Mom," he murmurs, his voice lower now. "I see you." My breath catches. The weight of his stare feels like it's unraveling me, stripping away every wall I've built over the years. I should look away. I should pull my hand back. But I don't, and that terrifies me more than anything else. The drive home is silent. Not awkward, not tense, but heavy with something neither of us is willing to name. Jordan's hand rests on the gear shift, his fingers tracing idle patterns on the leather. My grip tightens on the steering wheel. When we pull into the driveway, I force a small smile as I turn to him. "Happy birthday, sweetheart." Jordan watches me for a long moment before saying, "This was the best one yet." Then, before I can react, he leans in, just slightly, just enough for the space between us to vanish for a moment. I don't breathe. For a moment, everything tilts. And then, just as quickly, he pulls back, his voice low, almost a whisper. "Good night, Mom." I sit frozen as he steps out of the car and disappears inside, trying to convince myself that nothing has changed, even though I know deep down everything has. The house is quiet when I enter. The only sounds the hum of the fridge and the faint flicker of the TV from the living room. Victor is there, lost in whatever show numbs his existence, oblivious to the world around him. He doesn't look up as I walk past, doesn't notice me slipping quietly up the stairs to my room. I don't expect him to. Closing the door behind me, I lean against it for a long moment, my breath steady, but my mind anything but. Jordan's voice lingers in my thoughts. This was the best one yet. And the way he looked at me tonight. I exhale, shaking my head as I cross the room, slipping off my heels and unzipping my dress. The fabric pools at my feet and I step out of it, pulling on a silk nightgown before sitting on the edge of my bed. My phone buzzes on the nightstand. I reach for it without thinking, expecting a work email or a message about tomorrow's meetings. But when I unlock the screen, my breath catches. It's from Jordan. A single message. "Still thinking about tonight." Attached is a photo. I hesitate before opening it. And when I do, the air leaves my lungs. It's him, standing in front of his bedroom mirror, wearing the pale pink shirt I gave him. The top buttons are undone, revealing the smooth line of his collarbone and the subtle definition of his chest. The soft glow of the lamp behind him casts warm shadows over his face. His dark eyes steady, unreadable, watching me even through the screen. I stare too long, my fingers tightening around the phone, my pulse quickening as I struggle to form a response. I should ignore it. I should tell him to go to bed, to stop whatever this is before it goes too far. But instead, I type back before I can stop myself. "It looks good on you." A reply comes almost instantly. "You knew it would." My breath shudders. I put my phone down, placing it face down on the nightstand as if that will erase what just happened. I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't react like this. But the truth is undeniable. Jordan sees me in a way no one else does, and I don't know how to stop it. Sleep doesn't come easily. I lie awake, staring at the ceiling, the faint glow of my phone casting long shadows across the room. I think about Jordan, the way he looked tonight, the way he touched my hand at dinner, the way his voice dipped when he said, "I see you." A mother shouldn't feel this way. And yet, the memory of the photo burns behind my eyes. The slight part of his lips, the way the shirt clung to his frame as if it was made for him. I roll onto my side, pressing my cheek into the pillow, willing myself to think of something else. But I can't. The warmth between us tonight was real, undeniable, and I don't know if I have the strength to pretend otherwise anymore. Morning light filters through the curtains, casting a soft glow over my room. I wake slowly, my body heavy with restless sleep. For a moment, everything feels normal. Then I remember the message. The photo. Jordan. I reach for my phone, my fingers trembling slightly as I unlock the screen. There's another message from him. "Morning, beautiful." My breath catches. I should tell him to stop. I should remind him that this isn't right, that there are boundaries, rules, things we can't allow ourselves to feel. But instead, my fingers hover over the keyboard, hesitating. A response lingers at the edge of my thoughts, and when I finally type it, my heart pounds against my ribs. "Good morning, birthday boy." The reply comes instantly. "Come downstairs, let's have breakfast together." For a moment, I hesitate. But then, before I can overthink it, I slip out of bed, smoothing down my nightgown before stepping into the hallway. Jordan is waiting, and deep down, I think I already know. This is only the beginning. I find him in the kitchen, standing by the counter, a fresh pot of coffee brewing beside him. He's barefoot, wearing sweatpants that hang low on his hips, the pink shirt from last night still unbuttoned at the top. His hair is messy, his face soft from sleep, and when he looks up at me, his lips curve into a slow, knowing smile. "Good morning," he murmurs. I clear my throat, trying to steady my voice. "You're up early," he shrugs, leaning against the counter. "Didn't sleep much." I pretend not to understand what he means. Instead, I walk past him, reaching for a mug, my fingers brushing against his wrist in the process. The contact is brief, but it's enough. Enough to make my pulse skip. Enough to remind me that last night wasn't a dream. "You okay?" Jordan asks, his voice softer now. I inhale slowly before turning to face him. "Of course," I say. "Why wouldn't I be?" Jordan studies me for a long moment before stepping closer, his presence warm, overwhelming. "I don't know," he says quietly. "You just seem different." I force a small laugh. Well, it's not every day my son turns 18. Something flickers in his gaze. "Right," he murmurs. I lift my coffee to my lips, hoping he doesn't notice the way my hands tremble slightly, hoping he doesn't see the truth behind my carefully crafted mask. Because deep down, I know everything has changed, and there's no going back.